Good evening, everybody, and how are we today? We have a special guest today on our Skype interview segment. And who are you?
I'm Peepinella.
Peepinella, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Doing all right? Awesome. We'd just like to ask a few questions. We can start off by, what video game systems do you own?
Oh, let's see. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Nintendo. No, not that one. I'm looking at my son to find out all the ones we have.
Okay.
Super Nintendo.
Yep.
GameCube. GameCube. And of course the computer.
Do you have any games in particular that are your favorite?
Yes.
Ooh,
Spyro.
Spyro. Oh, Spyro the Dragon.
Yes.
Which ones have you played?
All of them.
All of them? Wow.
Yes.
She's played all except for the recent ones that remind her of like fighting games.
And what is it about Spyro that you like? What is it about the game?
It's, I guess, I don't know. I liked about the dragon and having to go for gems and the graphics.
Yeah, I remember playing the first one for the PS1, and I just loved the game, but I never got involved with the rest of the series. Are there any other games that remind you of Spyro the Dragon that you play?
Yeah, it's Crash Bandicoot.
Haven't heard of that one before. What's that for?
That one is also for PlayStation 1. And it's almost basically like Spyro, where you have to collect the gems. In this one, you break boxes and try to get to the end of the, I guess, the path.
And you have to collect crystals in each level.
Oh, okay. What is your earliest video gaming memory?
Atari, which was, and I hate to tell you, but this was back in 1975. So I'm going to be 50 the end of in 2 months, so that'll tell you how far back that was.
Yeah.
It was the Atari, the ping pong.
Oh, Pong? You mean Pong?
Oh yeah.
I have an Atari 2600. I have quite a bit of games for it. Do you remember any other games that come to mind for Atari?
No, I can't think of the names of them. It was one where you had to ride a flying ostrich.
Joust.
Yeah.
I have Joust. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Oh yes.
E.T. What other ones are out there? So many. Freeway. There was Donkey Kong.
Yep, I did. I had them all.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you still have the system, or is that long gone by now?
No, but believe it or not, I have a son-in-law who just inquired over the internet, like a whole lot of them, of games for the gaming system.
You can buy them really cheap today, really cheap. Yeah, unfortunately, the only place you can find these things are either in people's basements or in flea markets, and sometimes on eBay or such.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you more of a competitive gamer or just a casual, laid-back, I'll play any game, doesn't really matter?
What do you think, Ken?
You're definitely a casual, laid-back one.
He says I'm a casual, laid-back.
Okay. What kind of video games do you feel you struggle the most with? Is it like adventure games, first-person shooters, puzzles?
That I struggle with?
Yeah. Or that you find more struggling than others?
It would be anything like fighting. Any of these. What are the ones? All your games that you play that I don't understand? RPGs.
Oh.
I cannot do them at all. I don't have the patience.
Yes, I just got involved with RPGs this year. I've never touched an RPG before. I don't
have the patience.
Yeah. Do you play games like Brawl or Street Fighter? Those one-on-one fighting games?
No.
No. Okay. That's what I figured you were talking about before. Do you have a favorite video game other than Spyro?
Yeah, it's actually, what's his name? My fishing one.
Real Fishing.
Real Fishing with,
Oh no, that's Mark Davis Pro Bass Challenge.
that's it. Mark Davis Pro Bass Challenge.
Do you have a favorite video game character?
Probably the big Spyro.
Well, I was hoping you'd say that.
It would probably be Spyro because he is my favorite.
He's a really cool guy. He reminds me of Sonic a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know,
Yes.
with his attitude. Yeah, it's cool. What do you think makes a video game addicting?
I guess it would be just the more you play it, and you want to try to get to the goal, and you get so close to the goal, but you may not accomplish it in the beginning, so you'll keep going back until you do.
Yeah.
And after a while, you start getting used to the game and start getting more into the game that you get addicted.
So I'm guessing that's what Spyro has done.
Oh, yes.
I guess the gameplay was just so great and was just on that level of challenge that was good for you that made you want to say, all right, I'm going to go to the next game and then the next game.
Exactly. I couldn't wait for the second one to come out.
Awesome. What do you feel has changed the most in video games in the last 10 to 15 years?
The graphics.
Graphics.
Oh, definitely. They've improved so much.
How about the gameplay or the challenge of the game? Do you think the graphics are making the games easier, or are they taking attention away from it? What do you think about that?
No, they're making them the same.
The same?
Yeah.
God, there's so many questions I'd like to ask. Have you ever played any Pokemon games before?
Once.
What?
And it was a disaster.
Oh God. Do you have any details for us?
Again, it came down to a fighting game. To me, it was something that you had to fight up against, and I just could never maneuver. I mean, my son would try to teach me, and I would just if he would say hit A button, I would have to actually look down at the controller to see the A button. And it could be years and years of me, and I still have to look down to find that A button.
Right. So that's an RPG, so I'm guessing that's one of your horror stories, and that's probably
exactly
the game you relate to.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Since you have so many different consoles, you probably have a lot of different experiences with the controllers. Do you have a favorite controller that you can easily maneuver around with?
My PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1. A lot of people do say the PlayStation controller. Not too sure. I'm sure you're used to the Wiimote and the nunchuck combination.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's played it a couple times over my sister's house.
Oh, okay. How do you feel as a parent about the content that's in video games today, and the parents that are letting kids as young as 8 play Halo?
Well, I'm kind of guilty in something.
Uh-oh.
My son, at the age of, I guess he was like 18 months, we had a computer, and my husband and I were into playing like Quake and Wolfenstein.
Yep.
And one day we left the game up and running, and my son hopped up on the chair at 18 months old and started playing Wolfenstein and Quake, and knew exactly what he was doing. And
of course.
I mean, again, it wasn't something that we had introduced to him. It was something that he saw up on the screen and just decided to play it. So, but with some of these, again, I have to go on the other side where there is a lot of violent games that I feel shouldn't be out there, only because the graphics of the violence, I think it's enhancing a lot of violence outside of the home.
Sure. that's where this whole, ERCB rating came into play. And still
Right.
parents are ignoring it, which is kind of defeats the purpose of it even being there.
I'm lucky because my son's a very good person. He
Of course
really
he
is.
Sure.
So, and it's like, even though he plays those games, I know that he has a smartness in his head not to take it outside the house.
Right. Well, that's good. Is this the first day you've seen the stream, or have you been watching some time before?
I've seen him several times. Like, he'll come running in. Okay, I'm not going to be spending time with you tonight. I'm like,
Oh no!
okay. I know that's not a problem. I mean,
Tearing
we spend
families
a lot.
apart. Look at this. This is not
But
good.
it's like, if we're watching a movie,
Ah,
he'll be like, oh, I'm not being to see it. Oh, okay, fine, no problem. I know where he is.
do you own any handheld video game systems like Game Boy or PSP?
We have the DS and we have GBA.
Do you play any games on the DS at all?
I haven't.
Yeah, you played one, Brain Age.
Oh, Brain Age.
Oh, that's a good one. Are you a Tetris person at all?
She used to love Tetris when it was out.
I love Tetris.
I think if we got Tetris DS, it would be one of her favorites.
I think so too. It's a really great game. We were just playing last night. It's
Yeah,
actually-
and Al whooped you.
Yes, he did. And I wasn't expecting anything else. Do you want to be the guy?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Do you remember the Commodore 64?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember any games on the Commodore 64?
No, I don't.
It was around the
But
same
I
time
do-
as the Atari. A little bit later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember quite what the games were, but I do remember that system.
Did you ever play in any video game arcades growing up?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember what kind of video games that were available, that were popular?
Yes, Pac-Man,
Oh boy.
Joust. A lot of, you gotta remember, back when I was a teenager, a lot of it was also pinball games.
Yes. Yes.
So we had a lot of pinball machines.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as years went by, they've disappeared. But my favorites again were Pac-Man, Joust, and there was one other shooting one. I can't remember the game, but it dealt with shooting down targets.
Galaga.
Galaga 90.
Right.
Yep. This interview sounds very identical to another parent we had. Same games talked about, same experiences. It's quite entertaining. It's awesome. We have just a few more questions for you, and I'm going to ask the chat if they have any questions they would like to ask. In the meantime, do you play any musical instruments or have any experience playing them in the past?
It's 7:15.
Back when I was a teenager, I took flute lessons, but
Mhm.
that turned into a disaster.
Oh no.
It was my mother's flute when she was a teenager,
Uh-huh.
and she feared that if I wanted to take an instrument, it had to be the flute.
Yeah.
And she always burned in my head that if I did anything to this flute, she was
She would
going
kill
to
you.
harm me.
Sure.
So it was like, I really didn't want to play the flute after that. So that, again, turned into a disaster.
Oh no. Oh man. It's a shame that you have to associate all those painful memories with such things that should be enjoyable. Oh man. One final question, I guess. What video game are you looking forward to buying that's coming out later on in the year?
Oh, anything that's an adventure.
So you're hoping for another Spyro game, I'm sure.
Spyro or Crash Bandicoot. Definitely.
All right. Peepinella, thank you so much for calling in today.
Oh, no problem. It was
It's
good talking to you.
All right. You take care, and hopefully we'll talk to you again sometime. Who knows?
Okay.
Enjoy your games.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Tom.
See ya.